Hi everyone, I'm back providing a stock analysis update on Greatland Gold. Today's 22nd of June 2020. This is an update following the mid-April updates that I did when I did a stock analysis deep dive. It's Dale here from the investment journey, and I just want to give you an update. If you like this, please comment, subscribe, really helps. Thanks very much. So we're going to go through what's changed since the last analysis, review new data and information, update the investment thesis, have another look at the valuation, and then revisit where does Greatland Gold go from here. So what has really changed? So we'll look at the facts first. What macro factors have changed? What has happened to the gold price? We'll look at the latest drill results, the 7th and 8th drill results. We will talk about the AIM100 listing and look at the insider trading, and then maybe more of a indicative assessment. We'll assess what it means in terms of grade, scale of the actual find, and what Newcrest have been doing to try to justify what happens next in terms of investment thesis. So really quickly, just looking at the macro, I think what's quite interesting here is that gold has remained flat since the April assessment, and there has been a high level of volatility in the world regarding COVID, and also the quantitative easing has created a scenario whereby there's a lack of trust, I guess, in fiat currencies in general, which has kept the gold price high, and it may even have indications it might go higher in the months to come. But if I just take a positive view to say that it's at a high level and it's very stable at that high level, it doesn't seem to be pressured to drop downwards. So from my perspective, I see this as a neutral to positive trend. Then if we look at the key news in this way, it gets really interesting. So 30th of April, the 7th consecutive excellent drill results came out, and I'm quoting Gervais Heddle here. The results demonstrated robustness and continuity of high-grade mineralisation at Havrion, open still to the northwest and at depth. Then in 19th of May, Gervais exercised his option to acquire another 17.5 million shares. He did sell some shares at a significantly higher price than the option, but in total he increased his shareholding of the company to around 1.9% of the total. So I always think it's interesting to judge people by their actions and not just the words. So he's saying it's excellent results, and then he's backing it up by exercising the options. Now, it probably wasn't a difficult decision to exercise his options because they were at less than a penny a share, and the current share price at that time, was around 9 pence. So, but it still shows confidence in the company. 22nd of May, we saw another insider exercise a further option for 6 million shares. And then 8th of June, Greatland Gold enters into a series of agreements to facilitate mining leases, things like application to work with the Aboriginal people and for rights on the land and such like. These are all necessary development steps to convert what is an interesting find into a real-life mine. And this kind of went a bit under the radar, but actually it's a really important step that these are ticked off along the way. And it shows to me that Greatland Gold and Newcrest are very serious about turning this into an operating mine in the shortest possible time horizon. Then we get to the 11th of June, and another interim drill results come out from Newcrest. In quoting Newcrest, some of the best results to date. What they've done is they've extended the high-grade mineralisation zone, and I'll show you on a picture in the next couple of slides, by about 220 metres to the northwest, and it's still open to the northwest, and we still see drill activity further out to the northwest, and it's still open at depth. So that's highly positive results. And then again, 16th of June, again action backing up words, further insider trading. And then today, 22nd of June, is the first day that Greatland Gold gets listed on the AIM100, which probably gives it a high level of visibility. So all of these evidence of positive news coming from Greatland Gold. So let's just take a quick look at the comparison. I used the data shown in my previous presentation that I took from Greatland Gold on the left, and then the latest info off their website on the right hand side. So here we theoretically don't see such a significant change in terms of shape or depth. But what's really interesting here is if we look at the number of drill intercepts, the infill really proves the continuity of the mineralization. And secondly, we can see that the grades are absolutely unbelievable. And there's a high level of clarity of where the high grades are now. So this to me doesn't necessarily hugely change the upside. I think it's positive slightly in that regard. But in terms of minimising the downside risk for investing in Greatland Gold, it gives them a much higher degree of confidence that the level of mineralisation we hope for, which creates the economics for a mine, is really positive. And then here we look again at the intercepts and in a plan view, and you can see on the right hand side this extra 220 meters extension that's been seen, which is extremely positive again. So really pleased to see that, and we still don't know how far it goes, and is there another half of the dome at the other end, which would be really exciting. So both very positive. Just a reminder here, Newcrest are going for the stage 3 now. They've acquired stage 2, they've reached the 40% farming interest, and they're really pushing to get through this. What we expect to see with the conclusion of stage 3 is likely to move towards pre-feasibility study and really getting a proper evaluation of what type of mine is best fitted and what the economics look like for the Havrion project. Here I've just extracted a couple of tweets from the Newcrest mining feed. We can see here that it's starting to become, alongside Red Chris, I must admit, it's starting to become an absolute flagship news article for them. And we can see how much investment, 9 rigs working continuously, night and day, in order to get the drill results, and regular monthly updates now on the progress of the development of the Havrion site. So it's big news for a major gold developer, and that is also a really positive indicator for me. And we see here maiden resource estimate expected second half of this year. That will truly give us a high level of clarity, and likely will be the next significant catalyst for price appreciation. Thanks again to Paddy Gall and his regular updates on Twitter. I've just taken a note from one of his tweets here, and we can see the white circles far above the blue circles, which are already the extended mineralization. And there's been drilling activity going on there for quite some time. So what do we gain from that? If the mineralization really extends all the way from the existing point all the way up to those white drill results, then the scale of the find is going to grow massively from here. Of course it depends on the grade, and it depends on the economics for getting the gold out of the ground, but from here on in I'm starting to get the impression now that we already have an economic mine. This is just a question of how big and what the all-in sustaining costs are going to be over time. That's really hopeful, and it would be great in the July results to see if we get any of the results from these far out drills on these step outs. Another positive indicator for me, really, to help move the price, is you need the market to appreciate what's happening. And we can see here Sprott junior gold miners have put Greatland Gold in at number 3 now on their holdings. We've got Numis providing analysis now, and UBS upgrading Newcrest itself on the basis of the upside that's not fully appreciated and priced in. I think that's, from a huge bank, that's really interesting. That's the point that drives the buy recommendation. So basically, I've taken a quick look to try to understand this, looking at my risk reward profile. So reserves, increased confidence in the infill drilling results, expanded mineralisation, still open to the northwest and at depth, and the latest 8th drill results were the best grades to date. So they're all positive. Gold price is stable, so I've kind of given that a neutral rating, which I still take as generally a positive because it's quite high based on the last few years. The all-in sustaining costs, now it's still a bit of guesswork here, but the grades are now proving to be much better at Havrion than at Telfer. So the all-in sustaining costs are likely to be better than Telfer. I think Gervais hinted at this in some of the recent interviews, that the grade golds were better, and that might drive an improvement. So that has changed my investment hypothesis slightly. And then the market awareness, we've got ETFs, we've got institutional investment, and we've got AM100 listing. The capex, so discount for standalone estimate for developing Havrion mine is less than it typically would be because it's sharing infrastructure with Telfer. So that hasn't really changed from last time as such. So it's still neutral, but it's positive overall. Things that haven't improved from a risk perspective or remain unknown. So we still don't know the specific mine method or the mining economics yet. We're still before the feasibility stage, so we don't have some of that information. And as good as the grades are and as exciting as the speculation might be, when we get when we get through this pre-feasibility stage, we'll really know better than we do now. And we still don't have any drilling results from Scallywag or any of the other prospects in the Patterson range that Greatland Gold owns. I think it would be huge if we could get some of those results and they were positive alongside the work that Newcrest doing at Havrion. So those would be major catalysts if those things came in. So I see them as unknown, and if they're unknown, being a conservative investor, then I tend to take a slightly pessimistic view of what might happen. But let's see. So in terms of investment thesis, we're still in a gold bull market, still an outstanding jurisdiction. We've still got the options to utilise Telfer in order to reduce cost. The exploration results were good. The drill results have been outstanding. Newcrest are still accelerating the drill activity. They're pushing through stage 3. Why accelerate so hard if you're not extremely confident? And for me, they still look like they're going to accelerate in order to get this mine operational before Telfer goes offline as a result of running out of gold deposit. So that's good. And Newcrest have still got additional financing and a very strong balance sheet to deploy. And we can see from the stuff they've done at Fruta del Norte and some of their other assets, they have a tendency to want to outright own assets that they're involved in. So that gives me a strong indication that when the time's right, they will push the button and try to acquire 100% of Havrion. Yeah, and Telfer's at the end of its life cycle, as I mentioned. So where's the next catalyst coming from? Drill results in July, AM100 listing as of today. They're the next interim ones, and then the next big one would be pre-feasibility mine study. That would be a really big catalyst for further price appreciation. So how do I view it now? Well, what was my best case in terms of all-in sustaining cost, I think, has now become my base case. So that's 80% of Telfer as a comparison. And I'm still using 1500 gold price to be conservative. But we're stable at 1750. So that continues to be positive. And we don't know the reserves yet, but the more the infill confirms the high grade zone, and the more we see step out results, which drive us a greater and greater mineralization zone overall, then we have to assume it's going to be getting bigger. And and so for that reason, I'm starting to move from a 5 million ounce reserve estimate to greater than that, up to 10 million, and it could be beyond. We don't know, but I'm not banking on something that I don't know. So at the moment, I have fair value between 17 and 35 pence, but with known upside as of today on the gold price, and open drill results for step out that could increase the overall reserves, sending us higher. This to me is a classic asymmetric risk reward. The risk is relatively low. We've got a high degree of confidence now in what we've already got, and we've still got the opportunity for appreciation, both in gold price and in reserves. So it still remains now, even now at 12 pence, it still has a huge potential upside, and that's corroborated by the UBS indication to buy on Newcrest, where they said that the Havrion wasn't fully appreciated at the moment. I haven't changed my thesis on what happens next. I still believe a buyout of GGP will happen. It's just a question of when and at what price. That would be my most likely outcome that I'm still believing is correct. And personal expectations, as I've said, fair price 15 to 35p. Which could be 23 to 46 at current gold price, but I'd prefer to act conservatively. Still, it's really exciting. I'm at the moment at having bought in January, pretty pleased with the appreciation so far, and I think to a certain extent, taking my own investment off the table and then letting the rest of the investment ride is probably the right strategy for me personally. But I do think it's still got some way to go. It wouldn't surprise me at all if we were up at 15, 18 pence by the end of July. But let's see. It's a highly volatile market at the moment, and please don't take any of this as investment advice. Do your own research, conduct your own assessments before making an investment. If you like the video, please comment, subscribe, like. It really helps a lot. Here's the full disclaimer. Seek professional advice, carry your own research. Highly speculative, pre-production gold investment and speculation. So you really need to do your own research. It's your responsibility. Thanks a lot. Enjoy. Bye.